earlier this week, I think it was right before they played Arizona State, Michigan did. He said on a podcast, we're going to beat Arizona State by 20, right? They come out, they lay an egg. Michigan lost. I don't know what the final score was. They were down by 30
piece.
Yeah, they were down by 30 in the second half. Laval, if that happens and you're the head coach, what are you doing? How do you handle that situation?
Look, I listen. As long as I've been playing or coaching, and Robbie, you know, as a player, and Coach Painter, I'm sure you're trying. No bulletin board material. Like we don't need to give another team extra motivation. And so, as a coach, you're trying not to say anything that they could use and put up in their locker room to use as motivation. You're definitely not, allowing your players to say it. And now it's hard, right? Guys can have their own podcast. They can have their own, they've got NIL stuff and they're doing. But it just typically it's like we got to stay away from giving them any extra. Like they're already motivated to beat Michigan. It's Arizona State. It's Michigan. They're a ranked team, a ranked opponent. They can get a top 25 win. That's enough. And now if you come out and say we're going to beat them by 20, and so as a coach, you're just patrolling your team as best you can to not allow. And when you have a maturity about your group, that they won't do that stuff. So I'm sure I would imagine afterwards, Coach Howard and Hunter probably had a conversation about not, doing anything to ignite another group, for the rest of the season.
It's so funny to me because when I was at Purdue, we were banned from Twitter in season. And think about it. So Coach Paint was afraid that we would offend or get some bulletin board material in 60 characters. And now you've got guys that have their own podcast. And that's great because they can make money off it. I guess, Draymond Green has kind of set the standard for having not just post-game media, but now media at all times. And I think that's kind of flowed over to college. But I can only imagine the conversation that was had because you can't really take it away from him because it will be used against you recruiting, right, Coach? Wouldn't that be, hey, well, Hunter had a podcast and then they take it away from him? I would think that unless he's doing totally egregious things.
Yeah, and I don't
like saying that they're going to win by 20 and then they go and get 30.
No, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Well, I mean,
but I'm sure he's just telling them, tone it down. Like you just
have
your podcast, have fun, but do not make predictions on how many points you're going to have or how much we're going to win by or any of that stuff.
Yeah, no question. Like we don't need any prediction. Coaches don't like preseason rankings. We don't like predictions. Like none of that. We just want
we got Hunter
focus on practice, get better
here
today, and go out and be the best version of ourselves tonight. But they already Michigan's a top 25 team. Frankie Collins transferred from Michigan to Arizona.
Yeah, there's already plenty out there for them.
He's ready to get back at Michigan, just because he left there and he wants to prove that he should have been playing. Like there's enough going on already. We don't need extra.